Alaska is a great place to live, but there's definitely going to be some downsides to it. And if you can't handle these 10 things we're going to be talking about today, it might be a good idea just to make Alaska a destination that you come and visit, do some cruises on, maybe do some hunting expeditions from time to time with, but ultimately you might not want to live here long term. My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams here in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things where if you can't handle these, you might want to go find somewhere else to live. So we'll be jumping into that in just a minute. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let's go and jump into today's topic. Number one is that it is way more challenging to go anywhere if you're wanting to go visit if you live in Alaska. What I mean by that is take a look at a map, and I mean a map that's, actually realistic, and you'll see Alaska is way the heck north of anything else in the US, which is great. We kind of get some distance there. Feels like you're in a different country. And yeah, it's a lot more, it's more challenging anytime you want to go visit. Okay, anyone else can usually just jump on one plane and be good. For us, we have to take like a trip to get to the continental US, and then we go to wherever it is that we're trying to get. So what I would say is, it's definitely a lot more effort and takes some more planning than what you have with the rest of the US, and you have to be a little bit more conscientious, and you can't just spur the moment a lot of the trips that you normally might do. There's certainly a lot less road trips going on. So yes, it can be a little more challenging to travel if you're up here in Alaska. The second reason not to move to Alaska is the cost of living. So we've talked about this in other videos in way more detail, but the cost of living is actually about 38% above the average in the US. Now that is nothing when you compare it to other places like New York, places in California, Hawaii, good Lord. Yeah, it absolutely nothing compared to Hawaii. And actually some places in Texas, I'm noticing that cost of living index is starting to creep up. So, but yes, the cost of living is above the average here. There are ways to keep it down, and one of the biggest is just really doing a lot of hunting and fishing and other stuff you can do to fill your freezer. And get a wood stove and find a place that's got some trees you can go chop down, and there you go. That'll keep your heating bill down quite a bit. So there's ways to keep it down. It's just a matter of how creative and how much you're willing to invest into it. Reasons number 3 not to move to Alaska is if you are not an outdoors person, you're probably going to get bored really fast. Okay, the mountains are going to get old because you're only going to be seeing them from a distance. Lakes and all that are just going to be lakes to you, bodies of water you can take pictures and put them on Instagram on, and you're never actually going to go canoeing, kayaking, or fishing, paddleboarding, anything on it. If you're not an outdoors person, then a lot of the natural beauty of the entire state is going to be kind of wasted on you. So yeah, be an outdoors person if you're coming here. If you're not, become one. Fourth reason not to move to Alaska is that for some people, they really can't handle the sunlight going from being really dark and really overcast about 50% of the year, and then going to really bright 24/7 during the summertime. For some people, this can really be a tough switch for them to make, and if that's something you're going to struggle with, that might be a reason for you not to move here. The fifth reason you might not want to move here is the medical expenses are going to be pretty expensive. I don't have the stats right here in front of me, but from what I've seen, the premiums are pretty high up here in Alaska, at least on the health insurance. And those premiums, from what I've noticed, seem to be pretty reflective for how expensive it is on the rest of the medical treatment up here in the state. So yes, if you're someone who's constantly going to be in the hospital and going to need a lot of care, Alaska can be more expensive, and if that's going to be really prohibitive for you, then you might want to just plan on visiting instead of living here. Now, let's go and take a break real quick. For those of you who've been watching for a bit, you know that I have a relocation guide that I'm more than happy just to send to you if you're considering moving up here. It answers a lot of the basic, most general questions that I get from people as they're looking to move up here. And go ahead and go to my website, register, put relocation guide in the comments section so I know what to send you. And while you're in the mood and you're trying to find out as much as you can about Alaska, do make sure you go check out my podcast called the Alaskan Journey Podcast, in which I interview people who have recently moved up here and people who have lived up here for a long time and kind of talk about their experiences and what it's like living up here. So do make sure you go check those out, and let's go and finish today's video. Now, the sixth reason not to move here is, of course, like anywhere, there's going to be drugs and there's going to be crime. So due to fair housing, I am not allowed to say specifically what areas, like, oh, this is a bad area, this is a bad area. Nope, not going to do that. I am always going to encourage you, go check out whatever area it is that you're looking to move into on the crime map. And I'm also going to say, go check out the crime map for the area that you currently live in. This exercise can be pretty eye-opening for a lot of people, and it can definitely, for some people, really make them question where it is that they are currently living. So yes, that stuff's going to be here. Make sure you go check it out. The rates, crime rate, drug rate, all that's going to be pretty high. Statistically, that makes sense. You know, we are the smallest state. If you get a sample size of the smallest size, it doesn't take much to throw the entire thing off. So just statistics. Not saying it's not high, but, you know, statistics. So let's move on to the next one. Reason number 7. Not a whole lot of job opportunities. Now, it really depends on which industry that you're in. If you're someone who has like more of the hard skills, like you're a good contractor, electrician, plumber, if you work a lot with HVAC stuff, you are going to have plenty of job opportunities. You're going to be able to work pretty much around the clock if you want to. If you are someone who's really just kind of looking for white collar, corporate America, then, you know, this might not be a whole lot of job opportunities for you. I will say that with the 53,000 people who have left the state since about 2012, 2011 up to the current time, that has created a number of job opportunities that have opened up though. So if you are looking for work up here, chances are you can find something, just because with fewer people living up here, that means fewer people are holding down those jobs. And so eventually, you know, you're going to find something. You just have to stay really persistent. Reason number 8 why you should not move here for some people, and that is there are guns everywhere. So for some people, this is really going to be something that's a big detractor for them. Me personally, I could not care less. I see a gun, I don't even really register that it's there for the most part. For some people, that really freaks them out, so just know who you are. Reason number 9 why you should not move here is there are a lot of large animals. So if you do not enjoy the feeling of having stepped into the food chain every time you step out your door, this might not be a great place to be. You know what? That actually sounds a little dramatic. If you're stepping into certain parts of the state, you need to be aware you are in the food chain now, not everywhere. Like, for instance, I'm going to go visit Barrow in a couple weeks here. You know, welcome to the food chain. And yeah, you probably don't want to be wandering off too much on your own. There are other instances, though, where you really need to keep your head on a swivel. And there are going to be larger animals, not just the bears, but it's also going to be the moose, the wolves, wolverines to a certain extent, not a whole lot of them in this specific area. And yeah, obviously the bears too. You know, there's lots of bears. I saw somewhere it's like 98% of all brown bears in the U.S. live in Alaska. So yeah, lots of the bears. Come ready. And reason number 10 why you should not move to Alaska is there's kind of a darker sense of humor up here than what you're going to experience in most other parts of the U.S. One of the first phrases I heard when I was moving up here is that Alaska is for the newlyweds and the nearly deads. And I was like, damn, that is dark. But that just kind of gives you a little sampling for what the humor is like up here. It can be a little bit darker. So if you're someone who's going to get easily offended, then, you know, Alaska might not be a great fit for you. But this has been my list. It is certainly not exhaustive. If you have any questions, do make sure you post those in the comments section down below, and be happy to answer those as best I can for you. If you have any reasons why people shouldn't move up here, do make sure you post those in the comments section down below as well. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.